Hello, lovely people. Today I'm going to share with you something that I'm truly excited about, and I think everyone should know about this stuff. I think you should learn about mindful cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's not as complicated as it sounds, so don't worry. But why? Well, because it can help you with any negative experience that you're having in your life. It can help you deal with anxiety, with depression, stress, insomnia, procrastination. Basically, any negative experience you're having, you can improve with Mindful CBT. So, how does it help? Well, it does a couple of things. It gives you a framework to interpret what's going on in your moment to moment experience. So, you'll know what are the components of your experience and how they interact with each other. And it will also give you the tools to influence these components. Well, yeah, but so what? Well, so if you have knowledge about the components of your experience and you have the tools to influence them, and you sprinkle a bit of mindfulness on top, then you'll start seeing all these benefits like gaining control over your life, experiencing life working in your favor, being more confident in yourself, change self-compromising core beliefs, act in your best interests, start seeing things as they truly are, closer to reality, and set yourself up to success. So basically, you'll be less like this guy on the left and more like these distinguished gentlemen on the right. So now that I've lured you in with my memes, let's get into it. Let's see, what is this about? We'll start with the CBT part, which is a pretty popular model used in psychotherapy. And it's very simple, as you can see. It just has a few basic elements. In your experience, you have thoughts, you have emotions, and you have actions. And these components of your experience interact with each other. You can see the arrows point in both directions here. And so what you do, for example, impacts how you think and how you feel, and the other way around, like how you think and feel impacts what you do, how you act. So it's very useful to see how they're interconnected like this. And for each of these components, there are tools to influence them. And since these are the elements of your experience, then you will gain agency. You will gain control over what's going on in your life. And another thing that I want to highlight in this schema is how important emotions are. As you can see, both your thoughts and your emotions change what you do. So just thinking, no, I want to do something, but then not having your emotions aligned with what you want to do, you're not going to be the most efficient in doing what you want to do. Your emotions are like this inner child that is living inside you. And it's speaking to you through these emotions. And it's telling you, I like that, I don't like that. And since this inner child has an impact on how you do things, then you want to have this inner child on board with what you want to do, what you think about doing before you start doing something. And everything that you perceive, like everything you think about, everything you see in your mind's eye, you put your attention on, the inner child sees that as well. And it gives you reactions, emotions almost immediately. So if you want to be efficient in what you're doing, then you should listen to this inner child and see what is the message that you're getting through the emotions, and negotiate in a way so that you can do what you want to do in a pleasant manner, rather than dragging the child around and having it fight against you doing whatever you want to do. So this is the CBT model. And by the way, I found out about Mindful CBT from Dr. Seth Gillian's Mindful CBT series on the Waking Up app. The Waking Up app is made by Sam Harris, and it's amazing. It has all this awesome content about mindfulness, psychology, philosophy, and basically anything you need to live a good life. So I highly recommend it. It also has guided meditation sessions, my personal favorite being Adyashanti's Sitting in Stillness. So check it out. Definitely check it out. It's a paid subscription, but you can get a 30-day trial. You can reach out to me and I'll send you an invite. So this is the CBT model. And let's see an example to see how it looks in practice. I have a procrastination example ready here. So there's a situation. Let's imagine you are expecting guests tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, you have some friends coming over and the house is messy and you need to clean the house, or the house needs cleaning. You don't have to do it necessarily, but you're the one responsible, right? So you're anticipating this, right? Tomorrow, you will need to clean the house. It'll take a while, but you have the full day to do it. So you have a thought. You're thinking, oh, I need to clean the house. There's so much cleaning I have to do. Like I have to vacuum, I have to dust the furniture, I have to clean in the bathroom, scrub everything, and put all the clothes in their place and stuff like that. So you're seeing all this activity that you need to do, and looking at all of it, automatically you have an emotion. You start feeling overwhelmed, demotivated. You're feeling this pressure around all the things that you have to do to clean the house. The more you think about all the cleaning you have to do, the more you're going to feel this pressure. And when the day comes and you have to do it, what are you going to do? If you tend to procrastinate, you're going to avoid the emotion and you're going to watch some YouTube videos or some social media or whatever you do. And that gives you some short-term relief from the pressure. But at some point, you realize, oh, I'm avoiding cleaning the house. So you get another thought. You think, oh, I'm such a mess. I can't even clean the house. It's such a simple thing. How do I expect to do anything in life? And I can't do this simple thing. So then you think about this, you judge yourself, and you get another emotion again, right? You see the cycle going down, and it's getting worse and worse. And because you're judging yourself, you'll feel disappointed in yourself. You'll feel hopeless facing the task. And then this is pressure again, adding on top of the pressure that you were already feeling. So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to avoid it some more. This is pretty familiar to me from my experience. So spend more time on YouTube or social media or whatever you want to do. And then it keeps going, right? I mean, until there's the hard deadline, like I either start doing now in the last moment or I don't have time to do it. Until then, you keep postponing. You rush in the last moment. You don't feel motivated to do it, but you're stressed out, trying to get it done fast. And you're not going to have enough time to clean everything properly either. Another important thing I would like to mention here is, with every arrow in this spiral, we're just reinforcing habits that we have, reactions to specific situations. So if you have the situation or you need to do some chore or a big project, if your reaction is to think about the big thing that you have to do and keep obsessing about it, then you'll reinforce this behavior in the future. You'll create conditioning. So next time when you'll have something big to do, then you'll be focusing on the whole thing and worrying about it. Then, well, here you get the emotion. This is kind of automatic. Then from the emotion to the action, like you're feeling some bad feelings, something you're trying to avoid. And your reaction to them will reinforce that behavior in the future. So if you're going to avoid the discomfort and seek the short-term gratification of procrastinating, then that's the behavior you'll be conditioning yourself to do in the future as well. Then again, from the action, like you find yourself procrastinating, if your next thought is, oh, I'm such a mess, like you're judging yourself, then you're reinforcing this behavior. So next time when you're doing something bad or procrastinating, you're going to judge yourself. You're going to have this conditioning of adding suffering to the situation. So you can see how this chain of reaction is not ideal because there's a lot of negative reinforcement and there's a lot of struggle, right, through your day. And then at the end, you're stressed out trying to do everything in the last moment. So there are ways to improve the situation, and we're going to see that at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to move on to the next section. So I had to stop recording, and it's the next day now, but there's no way you could tell because I'm wearing the same t-shirt, so don't worry about it. But in the next section, we're going to see how does mindfulness relate to the CBT model. So mindfulness brings a third dimension to the diagram here, and it shows us our relationship to the elements of our experience. So it talks about, what is my identity? Am I identifying with my thoughts, my emotions, my actions, or am I separate and I'm just experiencing them? Then another thing is our attitude. How am I interacting with the elements? Am I resisting them? Am I fighting them? Am I hanging on to them? Or am I just accepting them? So that's my attitude. And then it also talks about presence. Am I being present right now with my thoughts, with my emotions, with my actions? And this is really powerful, what I noticed with myself when I think about something that I want to do. Like, let's say I want to work out today, and I anticipate the moment, I anticipate the discomfort. But actually, when I get into the moment when I'm doing the exercise and when I practice mindfulness, if I'm present in that moment, I realize there's actually not that much discomfort, at least not as much as I anticipate. And this is a real game changer for me because it shows me time and time again that I don't have to anticipate things in such a negative light. So yeah, mindfulness is a very powerful tool in this model here. And if we would look at the model from below it, looking up towards the tip, towards mindfulness, then it might look something like this. And now we have a nice 2D diagram again. And now we're going to get into the tools that we have for each of these components of our experience. So we're going to see, how can we intervene on them. So for thoughts, we can evaluate, we can notice cognitive distortion, biases, and we can identify core beliefs. So we can notice our thoughts, if they have kind of a pattern behind them, if they have some central idea, like maybe, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, or whatever it is, we can identify that and work with that. Then for actions, we can understand our conditioning, which is determining the way we act, and we can make success easy and failure hard. So we can set ourselves up for success. And then with emotions, we can make space for emotions, we can explore them and understand them. And it's very important to work with our emotions because if you want to do something, as I said before, it's best to have your thoughts aligned with your emotions or your emotions with your thoughts so that you can do the action efficiently rather than being with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brakes, right? So let's go through these. And if we're looking at thoughts, evaluating thoughts, there's some tactics, there's some techniques that we can apply. So evaluating our thoughts, these three ideas are about evaluating how true are my thoughts or the specific thought, right? Is it a fact or is it an interpretation? Is it subjective or objective? And what does the data say? If you look at the objective truth of the data, then you will see, is your thought aligned with it or not? And then what point of view would be closer to reality? If your thought is not really objective, then we will try to replace it with something that is closer to reality. Then let's say you did these techniques, you evaluated your thought and it's actually true, it's not subjective, but it's a negative thought or conclusion or something, judgment or of yourself maybe. So then we can see, okay, well, how bad is it really? Maybe we can shift perspective, because it might be that you're taking things too seriously, and maybe you can fail and still be okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And if you look at the big picture, we're enjoying life, we could be enjoying life on this beautiful planet and this great cosmos, but we're worrying about whatever failure. And in the end, how do you expect to make progress if you make no failure, right? If you don't fail at anything. So these are some techniques to evaluate your thoughts. Then if we go further to cognitive distortion biases, we have three types mentioned here. One of them, the first one, is fortune telling, which is kind of seeing in the future and already having a conclusion about what the outcome will be. So like, there's no point of going out because I know I'm not going to enjoy myself. So I might as well just stay in, right? And it may be that you have proof, like you say, the last couple of times when I went out, I didn't enjoy myself. But you don't know this time how it will be. You don't know. Maybe you'll meet a friend that you really like, or you'll go to a new place, or you'll just be in a different mood. So you don't really know until you do the thing if it's going to be positive or not. Then another type of cognitive distortion is catastrophizing, which is kind of overestimating the negative. So it's kind of this side here, like, am I taking things too seriously, or can I fail? So I failed the test, my life is over, right? This is overly dramatic. So it's not, you can fail a test and then still be okay and prepare better for the next test. So that's another bias. And then mind reading. I do this a lot, actually. I always try to figure out what the other people are thinking. So the example is, she looks so serious, she must be upset with me, which is just drawing a conclusion. You're not listening. You're not asking that person, hey, what's wrong? You're already convinced that it's something to do with you, and it's because of you, you did something wrong, so the person is upset with you. Sometimes I do this double mind reading, I like to call it, where I'm trying to figure out what the person is thinking about. And I suspect that the person is trying to guess what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking about what the person thinks I'm thinking, which is quite a complicated thing, but it happens every now and then, and it amuses me when I catch it in action. So the third way we work with thoughts is identifying core beliefs. And here we're looking for common themes. What is the common theme of my thoughts? And if it's something compromising, if it's not really in my service, then why keep that core belief, right? I have to work on that to change it, because in the end, you can interpret your reality in many ways, and why not interpret it in a positive way that will make you feel better and will make you more likely to be successful? What would be a better core belief? Practice, rehearse believing that core belief so that you integrate it in your life. So that's the thoughts part here. And next we're going to go to actions. And first we're going to start with the conditioning. And there are two types of conditioning. The first one is the classical one, the Pavlovian one, the one that you get through repetition. So when I see needles, I get nervous. Just by seeing them, it doesn't mean that something's happening, but I already get nervous because I've been in the presence of needles so many times, and I had discomfort, and now I get discomfort just by seeing them. Or when I sit on my couch, I'm craving beer because I've had beer so many times on my couch. Now I associate sitting on the couch with drinking the beer, right? So this is repetition conditioning. And then the second type of conditioning is called operant conditioning. I call it discovery conditioning because it's the way we train the classical conditioning, because they work together. So this is punishment reward, right? I touched the hot stove and it hurt me, so I know I shouldn't touch it again. I ate a piece of cake and I really liked it. And so next time I see cake, I'm gonna want to eat some. I did an ice bath and I felt amazing afterwards. This is an interesting one because it's not immediate gratification. The reward comes after the experience. During the experience, it might be actually uncomfortable, but afterwards you feel great. So this kind of conditioning can work with delayed gratification as well. So you discover things with operant conditioning, and then if you repeat them a few times, you'll get classical conditioning, where you'll start associating specific contexts or cues with whatever reward you used to get in that context. All right, so then we understand our conditioning, and then we make success easy and failure hard. And here we have a bunch of stuff. So first one, make it enjoyable, playful, rewarding, right? This is like taking care of the inner child. If you're going to make it fun, then your emotions will be on board with what you want to do and you'll be more efficient in doing what you want to do. Then prepare in advance. So let's say you want to go to the gym tomorrow morning, then you could prepare your backpack in the evening so that in the morning you don't have to think about it. You don't have extra effort that you have to put into going to the gym. You just put your shoes on and you go. Then you can leverage accountability to make success easy and failure hard. This works in both ways because the social element will make it fun maybe, and you'll enjoy the activity more. And then quitting will be harder because your peers will be expecting you at the specific activity. The next one is to take small steps, because we often think about the big thing we want to do, the big project, but it's hard for our emotions to be on board with all the discomfort that we anticipate with a big project. So you can think about a big project when you're doing the plan, but once you made the plan, then just focus on the next step and make the steps small so that they're easy to do and there's not that much pressure, in anticipation. The next one is do your best instead of doing it perfectly. And I've fallen into this trap so many times because I try to make the perfect thing, but then it becomes so overwhelming that I actually quit in the process, or I do it once and then I never touch it again. So I think it's really healthy to strive to do our best rather than trying to make it perfectly to begin with, because we can reiterate, right? We can try again next time, we can make it better, so we don't have to put that much pressure on ourselves. Then the last one here is to add friction to unwanted habits. And this is pretty cool, actually. And one example I can give is when I'm doing work on my laptop, if I have my phone next to me, then I will often just unlock it without thinking about it. I hit some obstacle in the work I'm doing, and then I pick up my phone and I unlock just to see the lock screen, or sometimes I even go to Instagram without even thinking about it. But if I add some friction, if I put the phone behind me or somewhere I cannot see it, then I don't even think about the phone anymore. It's amazing how it works. So definitely, just adding a bit of friction can help you a lot if you're trying to let go of some unwanted habit. Now, last but definitely not least, we're going to look at emotions. And part of what we've been doing until now also affects your emotions, but we're going to see now how we're going to work with them when they arise, right? So a lot of times, what I noticed, I don't understand my emotions, or I try to work against them. But really what I should be doing is taking a break and trying to understand and make space. So to make space, you take a pause and you sit with your emotions and you accept the experience of the emotion. So don't fight it, don't try to rush it or anything. Just sit with it and accept it and go through it. And then be curious about it. See, okay, what are the sensations that I'm feeling with this emotion in my body? How am I feeling it? How do I recognize it? And what is the emotion? Try to put a name to it. And you can even Google a wheel of emotions and try to get more specific with what is the specific emotion that you're feeling, rather than just saying, I feel bad. try to define specifically, develop your emotional vocabulary. Then in the final part, we're trying to understand, what is my emotion telling me? Because the emotion is there to send you a message. It's telling you something, and you have to listen to it and understand, what is the inner child telling you? I don't like this, I feel unsafe, or whatever it is. And notice where is it pushing you? Because your emotion will motivate you to do something or to not do something, right? So see, how are my emotions changing my behavior? Where is the emotion pushing the action? What is happening? What is the interaction between them? And try to understand and be patient with your emotions, because that's the way to have a more efficient experience, a more positive experience. You have to process your emotions. So this is the I call it the Mindful CBT jellyfish. And there's a lot here, so thanks for having the patience to go through it. But now let's get back to our procrastination example and see how we can improve it. So even before you do anything, like the day before, we already know we can do stuff now to prepare for cleaning the house. So we can prepare in advance. You can take decisions in advance. Or in other words, making the plan, right? You need to know what you're going to do and what order you're going to do the stuff that you're going to do, so that you don't have to think about it in the moment. So you're not adding the pressure of taking decisions in the moment when you're already anticipating this discomfort. Another thing you can prepare is to add friction to temptation. If you know when you procrastinate, you go to YouTube or you watch, you go to social media, you can turn off the Wi-Fi, for example. It just takes small steps to bring some obstacles in between you and procrastinating. Then another thing you can do, you can prepare and leave the vacuum cleaner in the middle of the house. So you can take it out already the day before. In the morning when you wake up, you want to start vacuuming, then you see the vacuum there. It's like you already did a step, so it's even easier to start now. Then what else can we prepare? We can make the deal sweeter. We can prepare a reward, because if you anticipate discomfort in the activity that you want to do, then promising yourself, you're going to go, after you finish cleaning, you're going to go get your favorite coffee, or going to go eat at your favorite restaurant, or whatever you like to do, or watch YouTube, right? Then you can use that as a reward. So the thing that you went to as a procrastination tool, now you can use it as a reward for you to actually do the thing. And at the end, you can enjoy your favorite thing guilt-free. So it will be a much better experience, right? So this is already before the day comes, preparing. Then moving to thought, all right? So let's say it's tomorrow morning and you have to do the cleaning. Well, you can focus on the next small step. If you made the plan already, you know you're going to clean the house, you know in what order you're going to clean, then you don't have to think about the whole thing anymore. You can just focus on the next step that you're going to do, and your emotions will no longer be reacting to the whole pile of stuff that you have to do. Because remember, what you're seeing in your mind's eye, in your awareness, that's what the inner child is seeing. And so if you see the big pile of tasks, you're going to get an overwhelmed emotion. But if you just focus on the next small step, then it's going to be more manageable. It's going to be easier. It's going to be lighter. Then you can emphasize the delayed gratification. Because something you do when you procrastinate, you overestimate the satisfaction that you will get in the short term by procrastinating, but you will also underestimate the satisfaction that you get at the end of the activity when you finish it. So if you shift your focus to the way you will feel at the end when you will finish the activity, then you're sweetening the deal again. You're going to make it more rewarding to do the thing that you want to do. Then you can think about, is there really that much discomfort in cleaning the house? Because really, it's not that big of a deal. But in anticipation, you might think it's worse than it actually is. So a nice way of proving to yourself, is it really that bad, is during the activity when you're cleaning, try to evaluate every now and then. Remember, oh, I was anticipating discomfort. Am I suffering that much in this moment? Is it really that bad? And by doing that, you will see that it's actually not that bad. And you'll remember next time when you're anticipating, yeah, I'm anticipating this much discomfort, but actually the last few times I proved to myself it's not really that bad. Then try to make it fun, make it enjoyable for that inner child, right? Instead of suffering while vacuuming the whole house, you could be listening to music and dancing your way through the house. Who says you can't have fun, right? While doing what you want to do. Then moving on to the emotion. Well, let's say you didn't catch this, right? You had the thought, you thought about the whole thing, and you have the emotion now. You're overwhelmed, you're demotivated, right? What you can do now to deal with your emotion, you can take a break and feel the emotion, make space for it and see, okay, how does this emotion feel? You can accept it instead of pushing it away, because it might be that you have the habitual reaction when you feel pressure, you would automatically go and avoid it and push it away, try to hide it under the rug, right, in a way. But now to work with it, you just sit with it, accept it, and you're not adding any judgment. So you're not thinking, oh, why am I feeling this way? Or trying to change the way you feel. You just sit with it and accept it for a moment. Then be curious, see, what are the sensations of this pressure that I'm feeling, of this discomfort? Is it really that bad? Can I tolerate it for a while? And now that you took some time to sit with the emotion and you're not judging and you're not adding anything, you're not thinking about what you have to do, you're just seeing the sensations and exploring it, you might find some relief. And then you can think, okay, what is the action that I could do right now that would serve my best interest, that would be closer to the goal that I'm trying to achieve? So instead of going to procrastination, you can break the cycle and you can go to, taking the first step towards what you need to do. But let's say you didn't catch it in time, right? You had the emotion and you avoided it. You went to your habitual instant gratification device, right? What can you do here? You felt the emotion, you fell into the trap of procrastination. What can you do in this moment? Well, once you realize, you can look back and think, okay, how did I get here? Because it's important to know the cycle so that you understand what happened. Because next time when you go through this cycle, you will recognize the pattern earlier and you will be able to stop, at a previous step. So evaluate, how did I get here? What happened? Oh, well, I thought about the big pile of stuff and I had this emotion and then I went to the TV, right? Then think about where you're heading. If you keep watching videos, you'll be less and less motivated to do things because you're getting your dopamine hit. And you're going to go through this cycle that you are already aware. You've went through it so many times, so you know where you're heading. But it's important to think about it so that you're motivated to change, right? You can break the cycle again. You can make a plan to start the first step towards your task. So say, okay, I'm gonna watch the last 2 minutes of this video, and then I'm gonna put the music in my ears and I'm gonna start vacuuming or whatever you're gonna do. But let's say you didn't catch it here either. You didn't catch yourself and you watched a lot of content, you procrastinated, and you fell into the habit of judging yourself. So you're thinking, oh, I'm such a mess, I can't do anything, right? Then what can you do? Well, you can work with your thought, right? You can recognize, yeah, I'm thinking now, I'm judging myself, but actually, why am I in this situation? Am I really that hopeless? Or am I just having a hard time because I didn't have the right tools? I didn't know how to handle the previous steps, right? So try to counteract that self-judging habit. Then you can evaluate your thoughts further and see, what's the evidence actually? Am I really that big of a mess, or have I achieved things in the past? Maybe I'm just having a hard time today. So I don't need to be this hard on myself. Everyone has good days and bad days, right? It happens. Then we can go further, right? Let's say you didn't catch it here either with the thought, with the self-judgment, and you're having this emotion. You're feeling disappointed in yourself, hopeless, right? Well, again, dealing with emotions, you should stop and open to the emotion and accept it, right? Be open to it. Don't fight it. Don't try to push it away. Then sit with it, explore in your body. What are the sensations of this emotion? Is it really that bad to be with? Then, after you spend some time and the feelings cool off a bit, then you can prove yourself the opposite of what you were thinking that brought you to this emotion. So, demonstrate to yourself, yeah, well, I can actually stop and break the cycle and go and do the first step to clean the house. So you can tolerate some discomfort and do the thing, and that'll make you feel better, right? When you start being productive. And in order to do this, you have to think, okay, what is the smallest step that I could do to start feeling productive, right? It may be turning off the TV and just getting off the couch, right? It could be just the smallest step to prove to yourself, well, actually, I can do what I want to do, and it doesn't have to be such a big deal, right? So these are some ways in which you can take control over this procrastination cycle. And there are other examples that are talked about in the Mindful CBT series in the Waking Up app. You can find there some examples with anxiety, depression, stress, insomnia. If you'd like me to break down some other situations, then just let me know. And I'd be curious to hear about how you're applying these tools, these techniques in your life. What are the situations where you're finding this useful? Or maybe are there some other techniques that I haven't mentioned here that you found useful? I've been doing a lot of talking here, so thanks for sticking around. And I'm really curious to hear about your experiences, so please do reach out. But for now, this is it. So see you in the next one.